Seriously, I wanted to know if there is a solution for this. Naishu, without the tab, without the screens, can't you eat?
No.
I mean, she can eat actually if I force it. But the thing is, I don't want to enforce it like that. First of all, we should be right. If you and me are able to eat without the screens, then you can enforce it on them. We all got used to that. Not now. I'm talking since 10 years now. If I myself am not doing that, how can I enforce it on the kid? Me and Pooja, we try to give her the least amount of possible for screen time. 1 to 2 hours in summer vacation, it's gone up because let's be honest, okay? No matter how much engaged you want to keep your kid, we ask her to do some crafts like physical activities, go out, play in the community. But still, how much in a day of 24 hours? How do you entertain your kid? I spend like 2 hours a day with her. Cycle, we do all that physical activities done. She plays with Pooja for some time. But we also have our work, especially because now there's no schools in the last 2 months. We have to accept it. I keep editing, I keep running around the screens all the time, and she's like, Papa, you also work on your screen so much, so let me also see. There's no answer. I can't teach a kid that this is work and this is what pays us money. They'll not understand all that, right? Also, one more thing, if you try to not give them screens at all, we don't want our kids to be left out, right? I want Naisha to use AI. I don't want her to become a slave of AI. She should be able to leverage AI and maybe build productive things out of it instead of completely asking them to stop using all these things. I think that's not the right approach. Otherwise, they'll be left out. Now we'll all have to figure out how it goes, but all this kachra you have to come and clean, Naishu. What is all this? Kabza kar diya pura sofa. Where do I sit? Actually, no, it's not about boasting, but I feel really good about this. Last week, if you remember, I went to this event, the coffee shop launch. They posted some of the reels and stuff where I was there, especially in this particular reel. Instagram, all of you people already saw that, but you see this particular reel, I'm not even there in this. I am there, like it comes for like a second. Did you catch me there? Like a microsecond, and that I was blurred. Vokalo vaina manam. I know, if you see the comments, this really made my day. You see that? Spotted Sriman Anna, 198 likes. Sriman Kotaru, Sriman Kotaru, Sriman Kotaru. I mean, go and see those comments everywhere, you people. I'm not talking about me getting too much of hype over this particular reel, but it feels something good that you did something right in your life, that people follow you so much dearly and that loyalty is there. Thank you so much, guys. Feels good. You people put me there. When you people show me so much of love, it's important that I acknowledge it. Thank you once again. Just say I've found something interesting in my car. This is a magnetic mount that I got for the DJI. It's very strong. I wouldn't recommend you use something like this. It is interfering with the DJI's mics, so you're getting this cut sound when you're recording. Somehow this doesn't stick to the car's body, but then interestingly, rear doors it sticks. Dicky it sticks, doesn't stick on the front doors. Bonnet, I thought it's proper metal, but it doesn't stick, which means it is magnetically attractive only half. Other half of the car, it doesn't attract magnet. Maybe the front part of the car is like crash zone, so it absorbs more impact. Maybe for that BMW engineered it that way. And that's a pretty good finding after 4.5 years of usage. And all of us car users, especially ICE, one thing we have to think about in the future is that particular lid where you put in fuel. The things are getting real. We have to actually talk about ethanol. Luckily, this is still a diesel car. Ethanol blending, all that doesn't apply to these cars. But in future, our government is still planning that they want to mix. They tried mixing ethanol into diesel, but somehow chemistry did not work. Ethanol doesn't mix with diesel properly. It was a failure. But still, isobutanol is something they are trying for diesel, so that might come up soon. The engine might be able to burn it, but the problem is the ECU, the tubes, the pipes, fuel injectors, all these things were designed for normal petrol. Little E10, E5 compatible vehicles, we have most of the cars that you see around us, but they were not designed for something which is more than 20% ethanol. See the way Sensex is growing back? Actually, since February, you know what happened, right? It's been constantly dropping so badly. I actually started thinking, honestly, should I exit? Should I diversify more and put my funds somewhere else? Because majority of my money is in mutual funds. Because since February, I had no gains, and it went into minus. Lakhs of rupees I was losing every single month. But then I was also confident about the market that these geopolitical issues keep happening. Whatever happens, something that goes too much up, we'll have to come down. That's natural. So if we were doing this panic selling, it's not good. If you're an investor, be an investor. Don't be a trader. I'm an investor. I like to keep my money invested. Whatever the extra money I make, 50-30% rule that I follow. And sometimes I don't even follow that. I take care of all my expenses at home. Majority of the money, whatever is left in case, all that goes into mutual funds. That's how investments should be done. And you have to have risk appetite. If you don't have risk appetite, investing is not for you at all. Business means risk. Investing means pakka risk. But now if you see, like Friday and Monday, it went up by 2,000 points, which means it is going to recover very well, because Strait of Hormuz, the geopolitical issues, the war, the West war that was happening between US and Iran, that has kind of reached a peace agreement. You know Trump, right? One day he says it's over, one day he says we're back at it. So imagine the kind of power these people have. Like one tweet, people like Elon Musk or people like the president of a certain country, single word, a single tweet can literally change the entire trajectory of the stock market. Your money, my money can be affected so much. So many families get affected by a single tweet. Service overdue, a lot of things. Fuel reserve, you can't continue driving, inflate your tires. Service requirement, engine oil needs to be changed. But I'll tell you what, this is the reason I kind of, all these wars and geopolitical issues that are happening in the world, you know, sometimes you need to get a hit. Master kodte gani, or parents, only when they give you one good slap, will you start learning, right? You learn your mistakes. I think India has become kind of comfortable importing oil. Not just India, but a lot of countries depend a lot on these Saudi countries, where oil is like their main export business, and we totally rely on them. Because of which, when Strait of Hormuz was shut, we all started having a lot of issues. Inflation started going up. There was no fuel supply. Crude prices went up. You saw the scenes that happened at petrol bunks. People started fighting. Is the reason, and now we started thinking about a better solution, which is making our own fuel, which is very important. Now, because of this hit, the good thing that happened is finally India started thinking that we have to become indigenous. We have to make our own stuff. That hit gave us a clarity. Even the leaders, everyone took those good decisions that we have to make our own fuel. And ethanol is something like that, where it is an advantage to a lot of us people. We are all thinking personally that it is going to affect our cars, our machines, all these things. Accepted, that will happen. All these vehicles that you see around me, hundreds of cars and bikes, none of these are E20 compatible actually. So that's what I think should happen. There should be a good diversification of all the fuel types. E20, there should be E30, 40, 50, 100. Yeah, E100 has been announced. It's not available right now to use it, but the regulations have been signed in India officially, which means E100 can come. That doesn't mean the fuel is going to have 100% ethanol. There is going to be an additive of petrol. Previously, additive used to be ethanol. Now it's going to be petrol as additive and ethanol being the main fuel. So buckle up and get ready that we are going to have all these. So like I said, ethanol is going to be benefiting a lot of things. Like agriculture is going to increase a lot. Farmers are going to get richer. Industries that produce ethanol, now let's not get into politics. It is definitely going to help the politicians or leaders, whoever is controlling all this. All that is there, but we can't deny the fact it is actually going to boost our economy in some way or the other. And if you and me are a smart person, we will find those gaps between the production of ethanol to the consumer. Somewhere you can find a gap and actually build a great big business around it. This is where there is thousands of crores to be built. You and me will not do it, but if you are that smart person, you will definitely find a gap which you can fill. I'm not talking about production of ethanol and all that, but talking about the smaller problems that will slowly come up between the production to the consumption. Think about it. Every time there's a geopolitical issue somewhere in the world, especially the Middle East and all that, where the fuel is being produced, India is going to always get affected. This dependency should reduce from crops grown by Indian farmers. Like you're literally growing your fuel inside your home. Pakka country odochi emana lolli cheste are pora bhai ani cheppochu. Now we can't do that because oops, this is calling service center. Of course, don't go and put E85 in your vehicle. That will not work. It will ruin your stuff because that needs special modifications inside your current car. Actually, I heard the M340i and a couple of other variants, they have conversion kits which will take up to 3 to 4 lakhs to change all the pipes and all the things that make them compatible with a E85. And you know what? We think that there's a small advantage, I'll tell you, with E85. Not economical side, but I'm talking about the performance side. Your car can produce much more power. The car becomes much more aggressive, becomes more performance oriented car when you put E85 in it compared to a higher grade petrol, because it's high octane rating. Ethanol by chemistry has more octane rating than traditional petrol, it seems. I didn't know this. I thought ethanol is like sugarcane juice, it will not burn properly and there'll be a power loss in your car. No, I'm not talking E20 cars, I'm talking about E85, and if your car is 100% E85 capable, or if you get your car converted. But then economically, yes, it is going to make a difference because you are going to lose mileage in it. E85 is going to cost somewhere around 90 rupees or something compared to 115, 120 rupees for petrol E20. The mileage is going to go down by 20%, which means kind of it becomes equal, but then at least there is one advantage that we don't need to depend on another country for our fuel imports. That means every time there's a war, every time there's a geopolitical issue, or every time someone tweets, you and me, or as a whole country, we are not going to get affected that much. But the biggest question, the biggest dilemma all of us auto enthusiasts have is it really going to be that bad, this kind of different fuel blendings? It's not so easy to answer unless we have enough data, but we have E20 since the last almost 1 year now. My personal experience, I am not the right person because my cars, like I said, they don't run like thousands of kilometers per year, and the car that did at least 5,000 kilometers is the BMW, which is a diesel car. But coming to petrol, none of my petrol vehicles have done anything beyond 1,000 kilometers in the entire year. XP95 sounds like it's 95% petrol and only 5% ethanol. The branding should change. XP95, I'm sorry to break it to you, but XP95 is the same E20 petrol anta. I know many of you maybe know it. I didn't know it. XP100 is the only petrol that also has slight blending. I don't know, around I think 3 or 4% of ethanol. XP95, all these days I thought from the name 95 and chudagane, I thought 95% you have petrol in it and 5% ethanol blending. So basically it is maybe E5, but no, it is also the typical E20. So the regular petrol, which was 100 rupees, we would say don't put this, give us XP95, which is the same petrol again, just the branding is different. We got fooled. But answering the big question, is E20 bad for our engines? From all the articles that I've read, definitely people reported, like not everyone, but at least 40+% reported that they have a drop in mileage, and there is not enough data, or there's not enough time that went into whether these blendings have damaged the vehicle. There are a few cases here and there, but that data is not enough yet. Maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, after a lot of engines are damaged because of corrosion, which is not proven, so we can't go by that. And if you think about it, E10 versus E20, there's not much of a difference. Yes, there is 10% more ethanol maybe technically, but still an E10 compatible vehicle can slightly run E20 without major problems. Like you will not notice that much of issues in your vehicle. My S1000 is E10 compatible, it's written on it. I put E20. XP95, I thought it's 95% petrol, like I said, but all these days I was putting 20% ethanol blend in it. As of now, it did like 3,700 kilometers as of date. Up for sale. If anyone is interested, please let me know. There's not enough kilometers or enough time with it where I could say yes, it damaged my vehicle. Now the biggest thing that happened is E85 got announced, but not to worry. Even if the government is going to sell E85, which is a good thing, like I said, when there is no fuel imports happening, does India produce its own fuel? Not that much. Let's say tomorrow US, Iran, everyone is against us, and they decided not to give India fuel. Aim this up. Right now you're still getting a little bit of fuel at a higher price, and still we are all running for it. The day they shut the gates, we have to be ready with an alternate plan, right? Is the reason this is the only option left. Yes, EV is one option. Second option is making our own fuel, literally growing our crops which produce ethanol, and E100 has been signed, which is going to come soon. But the good part is it's not like a mandate, right? Government is planning that E20 is going to be there. Along with it, E85 dispenser is also going to be there in the petrol bunk, and E100 is also going to be there, all together. But slowly the transition is happening. If you're going for ICE, you should start going for a flex fuel vehicle, which is E85 compatible. Only challenge, the biggest challenge right now is there are not many manufacturers who are making flex fuel vehicles. I think Maruti started one, Tata started one, and Hero also has a few. It is going to be a long way for that because the problem with that is there should be that much of demand. People should be ready to buy that. When will people buy it? When there is E85 fuel available, then they will go and buy a E85 vehicle. This becomes like a vicious circle, but someday all this friction always happens. If you look at the history, right from all the shifts, that revolutionary shifts happened. First it was wood to coal transition, lot of hate came. Then coal to petrol, lot of hate came. Petrol to EV, a little bit of hate came. All this transitioning time, all this up and downs happen, and unfortunately we are in the center of that. We have to go through it. End of the day, all these are fossil fuels, depletable fuels. They will be done someday. You think unlimited fuel you'll have? So just to clear your concerns, I think, at least as per my readings and my research, what I did might be totally wrong. You can double check these things. But even if E85, E100 comes up soon, still E20 is going to be available. On the whole, it's all these things are good for the country. I know there are challenges, like, manufacturers still have lot of pending stocks left. If E85 is enforced, who is going to buy E20 compatible vehicles? Lakhs and lakhs of inventories lying there. So the transition will happen, should happen, but slowly, phase by phase. I think by 2030 they're planning all these things to change to E85, E100. But even then, there is news that E20 is going to stay. There's all from the internet. We're not sure. Government can change anything. Like, they just shut 2000 rupee note one night. If they decide to shut E20 like that and say you have no other way, because we are not able to import fuel, no one is giving us fuel, we have to rely only on EV and E85 or E100. What can we do? The better thing to do right now is, slowly, if you're planning for a vehicle, it's better you get an EV so that you don't have all this tension. If your work depends on traveling a lot within the city, get an EV. Everything has its pro and con. I can't help it. But the better pros that currently I see is getting an EV. So then I hope this video has been helpful, cleared some of our doubts. This is like a discussion video. Please be constructive in the comments instead of bashing all these statements if they are wrong. It's not about debating on that, but it's a open discussion. Let me know in the comment section what do you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Take care.